Hi there and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Florentin and this is my music drive number 16. In this video I'll just do a few random music questions and I want to see how many of you can answer all of them without looking them up. I didn't pick up the questions in my head ahead of time, so I'm just gonna pick 10 random, somewhat easy questions and give you 5-10 seconds to think about the answer. Some of them would have multiple choices, some of them will be just a straight up answer, some of them might be true or false, and hopefully I can come up with 10 of them as I'm driving to work. So here's the first one, question number 1. This is just a straight up answer, I just need a number. How many keys are there on a full-size piano? Think of a grand piano, full-size piano. Okay, that's about 7 seconds, 10 seconds. The answer is 88. A full-size piano has 88 keys. Here's a second question. What family of instruments does the piano belong to? That should be pretty easy. I'll give you a few seconds to think of that. There's usually 5 families of instruments that musicians think of, and the answer is keyboard. That should be very easy. Now, some people argue that the piano could be in the strings family because it has strings inside. Yeah, it does, but you play on the keys themselves, and then the keys are connected to a hammer which hit the string. So it's actually a keyboard instrument because you play on the keyboard. Here's a third question. Johann Sebastian Bach, what music historical period did he live in? And I'll give you some options for this: Renaissance, Baroque, Classical, Romantic, Modern. Johann Sebastian Bach, he's my absolute favorite composer ever. Take a few more seconds. Bach lived in the Baroque period, and he lived from 1685 until 1750. So that, I think that was number 3, right? Let's see, question number 4. What was Beethoven's physical handicap? What was Beethoven's physical handicap that prevented him from his music making and composition and performance? This should be a very easy one. I'll give you a few seconds for that. Beethoven had loss of hearing. He wasn't deaf, he wasn't born deaf, and many believe that had he lived today with so much technology for hearing aids and such, he would have been just fine. He started losing his hearing apparently in his 30s or so, and then it got worse and worse to the point where when he finished his 9th symphony, he couldn't really hear it anymore. So I read this book of letters from Beethoven where he kind of complains about, it's not a malicious complaint, but he kind of complains about how God chose this handicap out of so many other possible ones, almost as if saying that he would have preferred something else, like to limp or to lose one eye or something, instead of losing his hearing, the most important of the senses for a composer. It's quite a sad letter. So I think that was number 4. Let's see, number 5, just a random music question. How many valves on a trumpet? The trumpet is part of the brass family. How many valves on a trumpet? I'll give you some options here. Option number 1, 3 valves. Option number 2, 4 valves. Option number 3, 5 valves. Option number 4, 3 or 4 valves. I'm going to think about that one for a second. My voice is a little bit down. I'm a little bit sick. I hope you can hear my voice. Okay, the answer would be number 4. Your regular trumpet would have 3 valves, but there are trumpets, different types of trumpets, that would have a 4th valve. If you watch some, for example, some Wynton Marsalis videos, you would see, or any trumpeter videos, you would see that some music is played on a 4-valve trumpet. They're not as common, but they are being used. So I think that was number 5. Let's see, question number 6. All right, here's a recorder question. If you don't play the recorder, then you won't know the answer, but it's just a random question that came to my head. I'm teaching a recorder class this week. So what are 2 things that make the recorder squeak every time? You know, if you're a parent and you have a child in school and your kid brings home the recorder to practice and they're squeaking. So what are 2 things, there could be more than 2, but the 2 main things that make the recorder squeak every time? I'll give you a few seconds to think about that one. Lots of squeaks in my classroom that first week of 3rd grade when they play for the first time. So we talk about this a lot. Okay, so the answer is 2 things that make the recorder squeak every time. One of them is blowing too much air, which is quite interesting because on most wind instruments, woodwind and brass, you want to blow a lot of air. You want to have lots of airflow for a good, healthy, clean, full sound. Like if you think of the trumpet or flute. However, on the recorder, you want it to blow just a little bit of air. You want the air to be steady, but you want just a little bit. So that's one thing. And the other thing that makes the recorder squeak is when you don't cover the holes completely, when you push your finger down on the hole, but if air can come out under your finger, it's going to squeak every time, even if you don't blow too much air. So I think that was question number 6. Let's come up with the 7th question. These are very easy, I hope. What are the 3 notes by number in a root position triad? This applies to any instrument that you might play. So what are the 3 notes by number in a root position triad? So if you think of your scale numbers, think of C major, for example, a C major scale, and C is 1, D is 2, E is 3, and so on and so forth. What are the numbers for a root position triad? And if you don't know what root position is, what we mean by that is that the bottom note of the triad would be the C, the tonic. I'm not gonna say the number, but I kind of gave it away already. And you could have inversions, like the first inversion would be 3-5-8. The second inversion would be 5-1-3 or 5-8-11 or whatever. So 5-8-10, I should say. So what's the answer? The answer is 1-3-5. So 1-3-5, which would, in the key of C, that would be C, E, G. In the key of E major, that would be E, G sharp, B. In the key of E minor, for example, that would be E, G, natural G, B. All right, so that's question number 7. Here's question number 8. I don't have it yet. I'm thinking about it right now. Okay, here's a chorus, a choir question. What clef do altos in a choir sing from? What clef do altos in a choir sing from? And which staff do they sing from? You know, a choral score would have two staves. We don't say two staffs, by the way, we say two staves. So what clef and which staff would altos sing from in a choir? Generally, normally. If you've seen a choral score, it should not be too difficult. I think that's enough time. So the answer is the altos sing from the top staff and the treble clef. You have the sopranos sing the top staff, which is treble clef, and the sopranos and altos. And tenors and basses, they would sing from the bottom staff on a bass clef notation. So that's the answer for that. I'm hoping these are very easy. If you're not a musician, they may not be very easy. But if you've played a little bit, then most of these should be very easy. I think that was number 8. I kind of lost count, but so. And question number 9. Okay, here's a more of a trivial question, I guess. Even if you're not a musician, you may know the answer to this one. What is the most well-known movie on the life of Mozart? It's not so much a musical question, but so what is the most well-known movie on the life and music of Mozart? I'll give you a hint. It's gonna have part of his name in there. I kind of gave it away now. Yeah. The answer is Amadeus, and that's his middle name. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. It's a good movie. If you've never seen it, you should watch it. It's not entirely accurate because it's not a documentary. So, as you would imagine, you know, that type of movie would try to entertain and educate a little bit, but mostly entertain. So a lot of the things in there, especially some of the things pertaining to his character, are exaggerated, you know, to make it either funny or shocking in some way. So a lot of the things that are in the movie are not accurate, but it is it has some musical value to it, and there's great music in it. So you should watch it. It's called Amadeus or Amadeus. I don't know how to pronounce it exactly. And question number 10, which I don't have yet. I'm working on it right now. I'm hoping this is number 10. Question number 10. Okay, simple question. What does a dotted half note plus a whole note equal to? I need the number. So if you think of the counts in each note that I mentioned, each note has a certain amount of counts in it. So dotted half note plus whole note. Dotted half note plus whole note. How many counts? I need the number. Shouldn't need too much time for that one. 7 is the answer. 7. Because a dotted half note is 3 counts and a whole note is 4 counts. If you were to add them up or tie them up, you would get 7 counts. Alright, well, these were kind of silly. It's kind of a silly video, I guess. Hopefully you got all of them or most of them. Let me know at the bottom how many of these you got right. And if you have any questions or comments, let me know. I'm getting on the highway here, so I have to end the video because it gets a little bit louder on the highway and you probably won't be able to hear me. Thanks for watching the video. If you want to subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate that. Thank you very much for that. Have a great day. See you next time. Bye now.